All right, YouTube fam, let's get right into it. So, someone actually asked me, they're like, "Hey man, like, can you make a video about like how to, how you changed your life, how you did your glow up, how you did this, how you did that?" And it made me remember like the 1 year in my life that really changed everything and changed the trajectory of everything. And I was like, you know what? I need to make a video on this shit because in reality, what you guys don't realize is 1 year of locking in, like seriously, can change the entire trajectory of your life. It could literally change your life. 1 year of locking in. That's it. Just 1 year, literally. 1 year, guys. If you do everything you need to do for a year, imagine 1 year of eating what you're supposed to, 1 year of saving, 1 year of, paying off debt, 1 year of just locking the fucking could change everything, man. Like literally, man. So let me walk you through exactly how 1 year of locking in changed the entire trajectory of my life, right? Obviously, I'm not where I want to be or anything, but it just changed the outcomes because the direction I was going in, I was just going to be some, 40-year-old loser that just, you know, is out of shape, hates everything about life, and has no purpose, has no swagger, has no nothing, right? And let me show you exactly how I changed that. So let's walk right through it. It's going to be a pretty detailed guide. If you apply these aspects, you apply these tips, you apply these things, you will change your life, period. All right, let's get right into it. All right, so 2016 specifically was the specific year where everything changed. All right, it's literally the year where everything changed. So, the beginning of 2016, as you guys know, I had gastritis. So, um, in the beginning of 2016 specifically, I was 148 to 153 respectfully. All right. Obviously not respectfully because no one fucking respected me. Like seriously, I had no driver's license. I was always overlooked. Right. But at the end of the same fucking year, right? I had my LPN license, personal training license, driver's license, respect as a personal trainer, and I was about 195 to 200 pounds, and I had increased self belief, all right, which really, really matters, all right? I want to really point that part out because before this specific year, I had no self esteem, no self belief. I never set goals and I never accomplished goals, but I remember I applied for the Navy. I was going to join the Navy because some lady came up to me and the recruiter came up to me and she was like, oh, we can get you a what do they say, Camaro or Dodge Charger? They always say some shit because they see or some shit like that. They're like, all you got to do is take the ASVAB. So I actually went to MEPS. I took the ASVAB. I got like a 95, but they didn't have any engineering spots open. So I guess it wasn't meant to be. So I ended up not going into the Navy. And I was like, what am I going to do? So my sister and my brother sat me down. They're like, yo, set goals, set goals, set goals, set goals, man. Just set some goals to accomplish and accomplish these goals and go from there. And I was like, all right. So I wrote down some goals. I was like, okay, I'll get my, LPN license. I'll get a personal training license. I'll get a driver's license. Because I didn't have any of those things. I was like, in college, you don't really use a driver's license to get around. You just walk or you drive. Right. But anyways, I didn't have any of those things. And I was like, I'm going to put on some muscle. I'm going to build the physique that, put on some muscle for the first time in my life. I was writing down all these goals. I didn't believe in any of them. Yet by the end of the year, I had all these goals. Let me tell you how everything changed when I had all these goals. All right. So obviously in this, let me go back to this first picture. Well, I can't go back to the first picture. Hold on. Let me go back to this picture. So obviously things were different here, man. Like I remember Snapchatting some chicks and they just ignored me, left me on red and shit like that. Um, Instagram, I hit up some chicks, they left me on red and shit like that. Nothing. Just ghost town, right? And I remember I got my personal training license and I still looked like this. I probably had like 3 more pounds on me. And everybody used to ignore me and go to the other trainer and they're like, are you a trainer here? Are you a janitor? Why are you talking to me? Don't you work front desk? Like these were real conversations that I had. I'm not even kidding. I'm not exaggerating. I'm under exaggerating so I don't come off as like, oh, he's over exaggerating. I swear to God, I'm under exaggerating. They used to be like, are you the janitor? Oh no, no, I only want the other guy because the head trainer was like tatted up and swole and shit like that, and everyone wanted to train with him. Right, that was the beginning of the year. By the end of the year, I was looking like this. I had more muscle mass on, especially in clothes. I look pretty massive in clothes, so I had people coming up to me and be like, "No, I only want to work with Luther. I don't want to work with the other people." So it was really fucking crazy that within the same year that everyone's perspective of me changed because now people's first impression of me was like, "Oh, this guy's always been a jock. He's always been in shape." Versus the beginning of the year, they're like, "This is a fucking loser. Why is he in front of me?" You see what I'm saying? So just from February 2016, what is that? How do you do the math? That's like 10 months later, bro. So, like I said, in the beginning of the year, I was struggling in person training because people didn't believe I knew what I knew stuff. I had a lot of knowledge, but I didn't look the part, which is that's the most important part. If you have knowledge but you don't look the part, nobody's fucking listening to you, bro, including me. And I would listen to what my fitness manager would say. I knew more than him, but he looked like he knew more than me, which is all that really matters, right? Because he put in the fucking work, so he has the mindset, and that's what people really want. All right, and then of course, in the beginning of the year, I was like approaching people, asking them questions 24/7, like, hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? How do you build your traps? I was like, how do you build your traps? How do you get shoulders? How do you build this? How do you build that? And I'm just asking everybody questions as much as I can 24/7, right? And then like by the end of the year, people are asking me questions, which is fucking crazy. I'm like, dude, like I was just asking people questions in the beginning of the year, man. But that goes to show what can happen. Like I said, when you actually apply shit and you put it all together. Like a lot of you guys make excuses for no fucking reason. The time passes, you have the opportunity to make shit happen, but you don't. The way I looked at it, I was like, listen, the end of the year is gonna come regardless, right? Because at first I was being impatient. I was like, damn, bro, like I'm impatient. But then I was like, I just want everything now. But I realized I was like, all right, so at the end of the year, I'm gonna have LPN school graduation, right? So I might as well look different and like start on a new foot when I get there, right? Because it's gonna happen. It has to happen. Now, in the moment, it felt like I was never gonna fucking graduate. It felt like I was in school for like 17 years or some shit. It felt like I was never gonna graduate. But then it passed, right? And because I did what I need to do, I look different. And by the way, the difference in Snapchat, right? Because um, I remember like posting this picture on Instagram. I got like 5,000 followers just from this photo shoot specifically. And then Snapchat, I think I reposted this on Snapchat. And then like all the girls that left me on red, like you can scroll back up and look at the messages. They left me on red. They like had hard eyes and they're like, oh my God, like when did I start following you? I'm like, bro, you literally cooked me like 10 months ago. Like seriously. Um, Another thing is opportunity, right? So a lot of times people think luck is just random, but luck is really opportunity. Like I remember this photo shoot happened because I was lean bulking or whatever. That's why I look kind of chunky here, but. This photo shoot actually happened because some dude reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, man, it was Thanksgiving, and I don't really, you guys know I don't really care about holidays, right? I do the same shit regardless. So it was Thanksgiving. I just finished a workout or whatever, and the photographer was like, "Hey man, like I was gonna do a photo shoot. I'm set up for a photo shoot, but my model overate for Thanksgiving, so he can't do a photo shoot." I was like, "What the fuck? Seriously?" So I was like, "All right, bet." So we did the photo shoot. Ended up like going. That was kind of like where I found my social media presence, which was kind of the start of the whole Instagram blowing up shit. That was like my first ever photo shoot, and it just blew up from there. All right, another thing that's super important. Give me 1 second. Another thing that's super important is going to be your mental diet, guys. You got to pay attention to your mental diet. It's going to be very, very fucking important to pay attention to your mental diet, all right? Because what you consume mentally is going to affect you just like what you consume physically affects you, all right? And I've noticed that a lot of people, they consume negative shit 24/7. They consume the news. They don't listen to positive motivation. They don't listen to Jim Rohn. They don't listen to people who inspire them. They're constantly listening to people who don't inspire them. Here's the thing. If everyone around you doesn't inspire you 24/7 and that's what you're getting exposed to, then you're going to end up just like they are, right? What you think is what you do, all right? So if you're constantly listening to people be like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, oh, everyone's out of shape, oh, the world's ending, oh, the economy. If you're constantly listening to people who say that shit, you're going to become one of those people as well, all right? It's just inevitable because who you surround yourself with is who you become. What you listen to is what you become because what you think is what you do. All right, you need to know that. So if you watch the news like, yeah, it's over, man. This is the last year. Yeah, man, this new president's horrible. That's been being said for like the past 24 years. Yeah, this new president's not going to do it. Someone's been saying that for like the past 24 years. Yeah, man, like this president's horrible. Meanwhile, for the past, four presidents, you've been fat as shit, right? For the past four presidents, you've been broke as shit because you haven't been, controlling what you can control. You've been focused on things you can't control. And that's what mental diet does. It separates you into two different people. I recommend you read Outwitting the Devil, but there's the drifters and there's the non-drifters, people who move with intention and people who move without intention. If you don't move with intention, right, you're just gonna go with the trends, right? Like the COVID lockdown kind of showed that. Like it kind of showed the people who are just like, oh my God, like buy toilet paper now, like just who panic and don't think for themselves, right? All that shit. But anyways, the thing you have to realize is that a negative mindset will always lead to negative actions. Like people don't realize that if you think negatively about fitness, you cannot have positive outcomes when it comes to fitness. Like if you have a negative mindset, like, yeah, it's impossible to lose belly fat. This belly fat's staying forever. My whole family has it. If that's like your thoughts, no matter what you do, you'll never accomplish your goals, right? Until you change those thoughts, right? Until you realize like, okay, what I do on a daily basis, I control, my fat. I control my body fat percentage. I just do. So once I change what I do on a daily basis, my body will change. Once you start thinking like that, then you'll start seeing the results that you're looking for. All right. Like you can't have positive actions with negative mindset, and you can't have negative actions with a consistent positive mindset. All right. Very, very, very important. And I've noticed over the years, like, all the emails you get, the advertisement, it's all negative and unhealthy food. Like, I get Burger King commercials all the time. I don't fucking know why. I haven't ate Burger King in like 80 years, right? And there's debt, there's murder, there's politics, just all this negativity. And negative emotions, they clump together. Positive emotions clump together, right? So if you're feeling fear, now you're gonna feel panic. Now you're gonna feel depressed, sad, mad, angry, and blame everybody else except yourself. I'm gonna say this one more time. If you are, if I were to tell you, like, hey man, write a list of what's holding you back. The only person that should be on that fucking list, the only thing that should be on that list is yourself. You shouldn't be putting the government. You shouldn't be putting, family and all this other shit. Because yeah, all those things could be obstacles, but you are responsible for overcoming that shit. Especially as a man, bro. As a man, nobody fucking cares. You got to overcome that shit. Like nobody cares what happens to you. Like it's rough out here for men, but that's gonna make you stronger, all right? It's gonna make you stronger. All right. Another thing, all right, that I recommend specifically for young men is watching anime, not fucking hentai, right? A lot of you guys goon every day and watch hentai. First of all, if you're gooning, your testosterone's gonna go way down. I'll talk about that later. But watch anime, guys. Like, here's the thing. In anime, the reason I watch anime is not for like, I mean, obviously it's entertaining, but it's seriously motivational. Like, I see the anime characters going through adversity that, like, very similar to adversity I go through, the doubt people cast on them and they still go, right? Like, shout out to my nigga Rock Lee here, working his ass off. Taijutsu master, bro. Zenitsu and Rock Lee are some of my favorite characters, bro. But anyways, Taijutsu master in this motherfucker, bro. Like, he just stayed consistent. He worked his ass off, bro. He worked harder than the people with talent. Because if you guys read Compound Effect on like the 5th page or some shit, it says, hard work is gonna beat talent when talent stops working hard, something like that, right? It's some variation of that. So it's very important that you use the opportunity that you have. You start where you are with what you have, and you stay consistent. And anime is going to motivate you to do that because you see people level up. Like when you can see from a third person perspective, people level up, you'll start to be able to apply that into your life. I have had moments during my level up phase, like 2016 was one of them, but I've had multiple moments where it's kind of like you're grinding, grinding, grinding. You're like, dude, this grind is never ending. And it's only been fucking 12 months of grinding. And then like people start saying shit, and the shit that they're saying, like, enforces that you accomplish your goal, you got closer to your goal, or you accomplished a few of your goals. It'll be like, damn man, like, because I remember 2016. I'm like, dude, I just want to build my traps. I had no traps. It looked like it was impossible to build traps. I would ask some people, they're like, yeah, there's nothing there, bro. Can't build them. And there was no insertion. I had like no trap insertion. And then at the end of the year, people are like, hey man, how did you build your trap? So it's just little shit like that, man. It's just little shit like that. But yeah, like I said, man, Naruto and Asta, man. Most of us are like Rock Lee. Well, let's be honest. Most of you guys are like 10-10, right? But in your head, you think you're fucking Gojo. You're not fucking Gojo, okay? You're not waking up. You're not being born and changing the world, like the power balance of the world. That's not happening. All right. Oh shit. Why is this shit so all the way up there? Hold on, let me fix this. All right, we back, we back, we back. All right, so here are the similarities between life and isekai because there's extreme similarities, which is the reason I prefer isekai. It's my favorite kind of anime. It just is because I literally went through one, swear to God, or coming of age, whatever you want to call it. I swear it was an isekai though. All right, so here's the thing. Luck is where hard work equals opportunity, right? Just like that photo shoot I told you guys about earlier, I was just ready, so I got that opportunity, which was cool. But like I said, when I had gastritis, I remember saying, right, this was like an isekai moment, right? I remember saying and, praying to God and shit, being like, yo, if I could ever fucking digest food again, I'll take my nutrition more seriously. I'll take my fitness way more seriously, right? And that's exactly what happened, right? Finally got that second chance because, I went to the doctors when I had gastritis. They were telling me, hey, man, like, you have Crohn's, you have gastritis, you have ulcerative colitis, you have IBS, you have IBD, you have this, you have that. They told me pretty much everything because I went to like 10 different gastroenterologists. This is all I did my entire senior year of high school. Like, I just played in football games without eating, and then went to school without eating. My drink water and eat plain white rice because that's all I could digest. And like, yeah, that's it, man. I was just dying the whole year and just going to different doctors and shit like that. People thought I had like cancer or something like that because I literally lost like 30 pounds of muscle and fat in like 2 weeks. Anyways, that's exactly, like I said, what I did when I got that second opportunity. I locked in. I took my nutrition more seriously. Took my workouts very, very seriously. So I consider, like, before I was 20 years old, I consider all that shit uh, like my pre-isekai because I don't remember much of it, and I wasn't very self-aware. And then after that, I became more self-aware, and I started to actually like level up, right? I started to level up. It was almost like I was playing a video game, which life can be like a video game if you level up, right? All right. So the similarity between solo leveling and life, guys. Like the thing is, before solo leveling, before the glow up, before all these words, aura and all that stuff, I realized this stuff through self improvement, man. Like I realized, like, okay, if I get, if you get another degree, you can level up. If you become more muscular, you can inspire more people. If you stay more consistent in the gym, lift heavier, you inspire more people. If you learn a new skill, you inspire more people. You can level up in all aspects of your life, right? One more thing that solo leveling teaches you, besides life, you can treat life like a video game and consistently level up. It shows you that you can never be right. You can never be content like with where you are, right? You have to always continue to level up because there's always going to be someone out there that's stronger than you, right? Or someone out there that's working harder than you. So if you stop working out or you stop working hard, you're ensuring that someone else is going to surpass you, right? That's how life works. Like a lot of times we think the end destination is like us reaching this goal or some shit, when in reality, your journey is the end destination. The constant grind, the constant improvement is the end destination. Because if he wasn't proactive with continually to level up, he'd be fucked. He'd be screwed. And the way AI is moving, the way the world is moving, you have to constantly be evolving, adapting, leveling up, learning some new shit. Because life happens fast and it evolves very fucking fast. So if you're not evolving, you're regressing, even if you're trying to maintain. All right, so him being proactive, getting stronger than everybody else, and then still going back and getting stronger, that's what got him to beat fucking Biru, right? Because if he didn't do that shit, if he was like, yo, I'm stronger than all these niggas, he would have just stayed, and then they would have got their ass whooped by fucking Biru or some shit, right? But he kept leveling up to the point where he's at, right? So leveling up and constantly adapting and improving, right, is the journey is the end destination. It is like the constant journey. A lot of people just want to settle down and be like, you know what, I'm fine here. It's not gonna fucking happen, all right? Because there's only two ways to go: you regress or you progress. All right. If you try to maintain, you're regressing every single time, especially how fast the world is moving. Right. Like think about this. Shannon Sharp. Right. This Shannon Sharp made like $3 million during what? Well, he made, I don't know how much he made during his career, but a lot of former athletes made like 5 to 10 million during their careers, and they were like the best player in the league, right? But after they left the league, they started investing and working at ESPN and doing all this other shit. Now ESPN or their podcast or YouTube or whatever, they might be bringing in millions per year more than they made as a athlete, because time changes, right? If they just were happy with their $10 million salary from 20 years ago, that shit would have been blown through because they didn't anticipate the inflation going on. And inflation happens in every aspect of life. It just does. Like, obviously, money wise, like $100 in 2016, you were like balling and shit like that. You could do a lot with that shit. I used to go to the grocery store, get whatever I want to, just a bunch of shit. It was like $40, right? Obviously now, $40 is like one fucking apple, right? Same thing with the dating market. Like 2017, bro, 2017 Tinder, bro, unfucking believable, dude. I was putting up Jordan numbers, bro, and I was even shooting. I was putting up Jordan numbers. I was even shooting, bro. Like things just change, things evolve, and you have to evolve with the times. You can't want the times to de-evolve to come back to your level. No, you gotta rise up. You gotta level up. All right. All right, so here are the actual steps to actually, you know, level up, get to your best version of yourself. All right, so the first one is obviously lifting weights and building muscle. There's literally zero drawbacks to building muscle, right? Obviously, you're gonna have more confidence. Your joint health will be better, but the respect that you get is just it's night and day, man. And none of you guys are gonna believe that until it happens to you. None of you guys are gonna believe that until it happens to you, because you're probably like, oh, he's always talking about this. Yeah, because it's a fucking big deal. I remember, bro. I remember every single interaction before and after. Like I put on fucking muscle. So the first thing I've noticed that was the biggest thing was like, cause I used to be like, I wish this, I wish that, but who gives a fuck what you wish? You got to make that shit happen. Anyways, I remember like going to every family event. My older brother was always the person there, like, oh my God, look at Mr. Muscles, look at Mr. Muscles. Every fucking time. And they used to just look at me and be like, oh, there goes that fucking skinny kid, right? Because I wasn't the young, cute one anymore. I was just some skinny fuck that was a nerd. I remember putting on muscle, and they're like, "Is that Luther? Oh, wow, Luther's sexy now. Luther's a personal trainer." And then every single time now, when they see me, they're always talking about that, right? Because it's like, damn, that nigga must have put in work because they saw that before. The before was beyond cooked. Like I remember them like people used to give me that look of ultimate pity, like I was like a dying dog or some shit. Especially when I had the gastritis and stuff, because you see my height. I was 148. Literally looked like I had like a year left to live or some shit, or just something was going wrong, or there was something wrong with me, man. Right? People thought I was crazy with my stomach issues, because obviously you can't just get like a blood test or some shit. You can't just get like an X-ray or blood test and be like, oh, okay, well that's what the stomach issue is right there. I mean, you could get a colonoscopy, which confirmed the gastritis, but still, and the ulcers. But other than that, like people just thought I was crazy. So like once I actually put on that muscle, I got so much more respect in the gym, grocery stores, every single interaction, way more respect. And it is a night and day difference. And when I say muscle, I'm not saying put on 1,000 pounds of muscle. Just put on as much as you can. Obviously, be consistent with it because you will separate yourself. A lot of you guys spend a lot of time watching YouTube and you spend a lot of time watching TikTok. So you guys are in an echo chamber of seeing the same 1,000 physiques and you think everyone's in shape. 1,000 people out of 7 billion people is not a lot of people. All right. And people who are not on steroids that have muscle is like, it's fucking rare. All right. It just is. In real life, nobody has muscle. It just is what it is. Doesn't exist. All right, get lean. That's step number two. So once you put on the muscle, obviously to become more aesthetic, to get that anime physique that everybody wants. Everybody watches anime because they want you get inspired by the physiques. Let's keep it a buck. Everyone's inspired by Asa's physique. Everyone's inspired by Toji's physique, right? That's because they're super lean. When you're lean, right? When you're in like, I'll say, this is a lot of muscle mass for 15%. But when you're in this range right here, bro, you're gonna be aesthetic. You're gonna have energy. You're gonna fit. Your mental focus and mental clarity is gonna be on a higher level. Now, when you're somewhere in between here, your energy might go down, but your mental focus is gonna stay high as shit. Your mental focus is gonna be high as shit. People are gonna they're gonna respect you. Ask you so many questions. You literally will get opportunities just because of how you look. Because when someone sees something that's rare or someone that's rare, they're gonna be like, okay, they're gonna ask you questions straight up. They're gonna be like, this is that. It just happens. If you guys haven't experienced this, it's literally because you're not in shape. All right, get in fucking shape. And I don't want you guys to think like, oh my god, he's being vain. Dude, we live in the most vain fucking society. Do you not see Instagram? If a girl has a big ass on Instagram, she's getting a lot of followers. Simple. If a dude's in good shape and he has a clean cut, he's getting followers. Does that have nothing to do with vanity? Is it because their personality? Like that's literally the world we live in. If you go for a job interview, right, you guys both have the same qualifications. One of them's more in shape. The interviewer is just gonna be like, I don't know, something about him I trust more. Simple. Like looks matter, dude. They just do. They do. Like it is what it is. It's also a sign that you take care of yourself, which is cool. Because a lot of times, I know a lot of you guys want to be like personal trainers and stuff. I mean, if I'm trying to get to 15% body fat or 10%, and you look like this, and you're like, bro, you need to stop eating. I'm like, what about you, nigga? Like, if I'm 25%, you're 40%, and you're trying to get me to 15%, I mean, we're both asking the wrong fucking person. You see what I'm saying? But if you're between 8 to 15%, you got a decent amount of muscle mass, and you're trying to get someone from like 40% to 15%, that's cool. That works, right? But if you're not, then it's like people aren't even going to believe. If your method works so much, why aren't you lean, right? So if you're telling people like, yeah, man, I can get you to, I'll get you to 15%, but you've always been like 30%, how the fuck are you going to get somewhere you've never been? Anyways, eat more healthy fats. A lot of you guys say you have low testosterone, right? Your testosterone levels are low. It's because you're not eating fucking eggs, right? You're not eating avocados. You're not eating butter, red meat. Those are healthy fats. I know that the government says that, oh, eat cereal and soy protein and go vegan and all that goofy shit that's not good for testosterone, right? Have some bacon, have some steak, have some butter, have some eggs, right? And stop, like I said, man, stop gooning every day, man. Healthy cholesterol is essential for testosterone production. It is what it is. Like, I feel like people don't know that. They think that they think carbs are the most essential. Shit like that. For your testosterone levels, even when you're cutting, keep your fats high. All right, very, very important. You're gonna feel better. The way to know your testosterone is going up, by the way, is like you're gonna have like the easiest way to notice it is just your libido and your ambition and your focus and energy is just gonna be up. Those are like the simplest ways without actually getting a test done, right? Just like when people are like, "What's my body fat percentage?" One of the easiest ways to know your body fat percentage is going down is when your waist is just getting small and you're getting cut. People are like, "Yo, you look crazy." That's one of the easiest ways to know. Obviously, it's better to have the physical numbers, but that's like some of the side effects or the signs and symptoms of being lean as fuck. Just like the signs and symptoms of raising your testosterone. More ambition, more focus, especially when you wake up. It's just next level shit. That's why Alex Ramosi takes TRT because it increases your focus when you have high testosterone, right? Anyways, eat more protein, right? If you want to build muscle, eat more protein. If you want to be full longer, eat more protein. More muscle equals more testosterone, right? And a lot of you guys watch this shit. You guys listen to me. You guys don't fucking eat this shit though. You have to start eating these foods if you want to reach your goals. Whether you're trying to get lean or build muscle, protein is going to be essential for all of those. All right, protein, protein, protein. So up your protein intake. Very, very important. All right. Another thing is you want to reduce your junk food. Let me tell you exactly let me tell you one of the main reasons you want to reduce your junk food is really because of just the dopamine hit that you get from junk food. That's why it's addictive. These foods are addictive because the dopamine hit you get from them. It's never actually going to fill you up. It's actually never going to make you full. It doesn't work like that. Like these foods are never like imagine getting a bag of like Skittles, right? Get a bag of Skittles and you eat 2 Skittles and you're full. They'd be out of business. The way that they get people addicted to it is the sugar, the processed sugar, all that stuff is addictive. All that red 40 and all that other shit is addictive. That's why you keep eating it. Now, if you keep eating these foods, you'll probably be in a calorie surplus because they're not very filling, and then you'll gain fat. The more fat you have, the more estrogen you have, which is why a lot of you guys have titties. All right. I'll release a video on that again about getting rid of your man boobs. But a lot of you guys just have titties because you just eat too much bullshit. So your estrogen's higher. You have excess fat. You have a lot of excess fat. You're above 15% body fat. You're like 25. And you eat a lot of this, okay? More sugar results in more insulin resistance, which decreases testosterone, guys. Very, very important. So when I say eat whole foods, there's a reason. There's a reason. Now, one more thing. Getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep, very, very important. You want to average that, all right? Average that. So if you only get 3 to 5 hours during work week, try to get 8 to 10 during the weekend. And it'll average out to like 6 to 7-ish. That's better than, getting 5, obviously. A lot of hormones are produced during sleep, including testosterone. Obviously, it'll also regulate your hunger levels. It'll be the best for recovery. And sleep is by far the best pre-workout. Like I remember even when I first moved to Thailand, right? I had to work overnights because of the time zone, and I was like my sleep was messed up. Like my mindset was fucked. Like everything was just messed up because when your sleep is messed up, your body is like obviously prioritizes sleep because it knows you need it. So you're just mad at everything else, and you're just like you feel unambitious, you feel tired, you have like this weird hunger that never goes away because your ghrelin and leptin are off, and you just have you just have a lapse in energy. You just feel like shit, right? Even if you take pre-workout, drink coffee because sleep is the best pre-workout. All right. You could play video games, nothing wrong with video games, right? But stop playing video games to the point of, it's your priority, like it's the only thing that you do. The only thing that you do is level up in video games, but not in real life. If you're gonna level up in video games, make sure you're leveling up in real life as well. A lot of you guys are, you guys hate your life so much that you kind of put everything you have into your avatar, right? Your avatar in your video game. You focus on your video game, you put everything in your video game. That's all you care about. In real life, you ignore real life because you hate your real life. You're out of shape in real life. You have pimples. You don't get sunlight. You don't get chicks. Your mom hates you. You smell like ass. You goon every day. But in your video game, you're like the leanest motherfucker on earth, right? So stop using that shit to escape from reality. But if your reality is good, you can definitely play video games. All right, it's all good. You definitely play video games. All right, this right here is probably one of the most important things. Read more books. All right. You got to remember, books are literally decades and centuries of knowledge condensed into these 200, even 150 pages, condensed into 150 to like 500-page books. Just centuries of knowledge. It's insane, and people just don't read it. Like it's insane. I'm gonna read right after this, right? But yes, read some Napoleon Hill, read The Compound Effect, read some Atomic Habits. I say this shit all the time. These are like the basics, right? They're so important for you, man. Read some Myron Golden, Bob Proctor, Jim Rohn. Listen to them. That'll literally change your mind. It'll keep your mind sharp, and it'll teach you a lot. It's gonna teach you a lot of shit, man. Like, it'll change your perspective on everything as well. You'll kind of feel like you have an edge on everybody too. Like when I read, that's what keeps me in my mind state. A lot of people are like, "Yo, like how you give your mindset like that?" It's like I just read, and you don't. That's really what it is. You just don't fucking read, and I read. Keeps my mindset sharp. All right. This what a lot of you gooning addicts need. All right. You need to make sure you practice sexual discipline. Now, There's a lot of like theories behind this, but if you actually practice, sexual discipline, like a lot of you guys have beat your meat so much that you don't even know that it's part of your routine. A lot of you guys goon so much you don't know it's part of your routine. All right, constant, like, just read this shit. Right, first of all, you're gonna desexualize your brain, so you're not gonna be so focused on just ass, because a lot of you guys are always focused on that. It's gonna force you to be more motivated, right, by other things besides your sex drive. When you don't use, your semen on fucking gooning, you end up using it towards business, towards health, towards joint recovery, towards muscle recovery. Your testosterone levels go up. You start using it in your mind, right? You start thinking more. You start planning more. You start being more ambitious. You wake up more ambitious. This is things that'll happen. Like if you constantly goon for a year and then you stop for 14 days, you're gonna be like, holy shit, I feel way better. You stop for a month, you're gonna feel way fucking better. All right. A lot of you guys are addicted to corn, right? Which is obviously going to make it harder for you to be good with your discipline as well. Because if you're getting dopamine hits from corn, then you're going to start chasing other dopamine hits from candy, from food, from TV, from gambling. They all go hand in hand. All right, dopamine hits all go hand in hand. Right. I remember making a decision between, a baddie, and semen retention for my business. And I chose business. And I don't regret that decision because that was a key moment, man. Because she was like, hey, like, you know, she- I mean, listen, she had a fatty, bro. And she had some big titties. But anyways, she was like, oh my God, like, let's plan a weekend together. And, I was like, okay. And I was all excited and shit. I was like, yeah. But then I had like a lot of shit to do for business. And I was getting I was getting leaner. I had a lot of shit that I just prioritized at that moment. So I remember just cutting her off, you know what I mean? And being like, nah, I'm not going to do this shit. And it paid off. So, yeah. A lot of you guys wake up earlier. I know a lot of you guys wake up at like fucking 3 p.m. and shit, 4 p.m., 5 p.m. on the weekends. You need to get shit done. All right. When you wake up earlier, when you make a to-do list, you're gonna be more productive. You're gonna lessen stress. You're gonna be able to better time manage. You can have better accountability, right? Small actions compounding over time is how you change your life, not big actions. So when you're reading 10 pages a day because you woke up earlier, you're working out at 7 in the morning on Saturday when no one else is, you're eating what you're supposed to at fucking 8 a.m., like you're locked in like that, like you're gonna change your life. All right. So it's super important to wake up earlier. And last but not least, time management. So time is your most valuable asset. So when you allocate it in the places that give you the highest return on investment, you will see the results. Here's what I wanted to say. When I talk about fitness, I talk about strength training, nutrition, and sleep because those are going to give you the highest return on investment. Yeah, you can do some cardio here and there. Yeah, you can take you can do all this other stuff to take fat burner. They just don't have as high of return on investment as nutrition and strength training and sleep. Those three things. If you just focus on those, you'll reach your goals. Period. All right. Another thing, stop chasing chicks. All right, chasing something. Right, chasing chicks is like chasing cats. It runs away. Right, but if you hold some bait, right? You hold like a cat treat, the cat will come to you. So chasing something reinforces that you lack it in the first place. It's the law of attraction. That's why it runs away from you. So if a chick is choosing you and she supports you, then there's nothing wrong with being with her. She helps you on your journey. Everything's good. Everything's smooth, right? Because when a chick likes you, she makes things simple. She makes things stress-free. She makes things easy. When she doesn't like you, she makes you jump through hoops. A lot of you guys are like, yo, man, like this chick playing games, but I'm gonna get her. It's like, no, she's playing games because she doesn't like you. All right. When you prioritize, woman, and you don't pour into yourself, you're never going to be able to level up and be the man that woman want. Like in solo leveling, you guys saw how that one girl liked what's his name? Like when he was at E rank, that one girl liked him, and then once he got to the next level, the dancing special rank ended up liking him. Like he leveled up chicks because he leveled himself up because he poured into himself. Simple shit. All right. Now, link will be in the description to get lean as fuck to change your life. So stop fucking around, guys. Take life seriously. Take your time seriously. 1 year can change your fucking life.